You know what time it is? Time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop from Mr. Cooper, from Mr. Cooper, from Mr. Cooper. Hang with Mr. Coop, with Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop from Mr. Cooper, from Mr. Cooper. Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Scoop with Coop. I'm your host, Coop. Season 11 is still going strong. People, if you haven't, make sure you go to the website, thebigscoopwithcoop.com, to catch episodes from Season 1 all the way up to now. Big shout outs to everybody that's watching on Facebook, facebook.com/The Big Scoop with Coop. Big shout outs to everybody that's watching on Instagram at Big Scoop with Coop. Also, you can catch me on TikTok. Just look up The Big Scoop with Coop and you'll find me there. And also, big shout outs to everybody that's watching on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, look for The Big Scoop with Coop. Make sure you click like and subscribe so you don't miss one episode of The Big Scoop with Coop. All right, people, enough about me. Today's guest, you have seen her, especially if you're in Eastern North Carolina. She has graced the TV screens on WRAL TV. She is a 3-time Regional Emmy Award winner. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Renee Chou. Now, Renee has been doing big things. She has covered so many events that you have seen all over your television, from the 2016 Summer Olympics to any storms, anything that's going on in North Carolina. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk to Renee. We're going to find out what's going on. We will talk a little bit about WRAL news. We're going to talk about her career and more. So sit back and relax and enjoy this episode of The Big Scoop with Coop with Renee Chou.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. It's great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Anytime. How's your day so far?
Well, you're catching me on the end of my day. So I've been, my work day anyway. I've been up since when the alarm went off at 2:30 this morning. Been doing 5.5 hours of live news. Just got done with our hour-long noon newscast. And, I was just thinking, I'm used to being the one asking the questions and doing the interview. It's kind of strange to have the tables turned. I'm honored that you want to talk to me.
Of course. And I'm going to love this, having the tables turned on you. That's right. You usually do answer the questions, and you have done so much in your career already, Renee. But for the people that's getting introduced to you for the first time, when did you first realize that you wanted to get into the news industry?
So this has been a dream of mine ever since I was in, even elementary and middle school. So even as a child, my parents said that I just would always be like talking to people. I always wanted to have a conversation with folks, that I was outgoing and just loved to talk. And then in middle school, I just distinctly remember how with my family, we would always watch the national news broadcasts. And at that time, this was in the late 80s, early 90s, Connie Chung was on the air. If you remember when she was on, some of the people watching may remember that. And that was defining for me. I mean, seeing her on the news, someone who looked like me, who was delivering news to a national audience, to me was just amazing. And it planted a seed in my head that said, I would love to do something like that. I think maybe I could do something like that. I thought it was really fascinating that, just all the different stories and assignments, and really informing a community about what was going on. And so although, I thought of not necessarily the national stage, but just journalism in general, that's what really planted the seed for me. And so through middle school and high school, I was the editor of the school paper. I loved writing, especially. And then when I got to college and I knew I wanted to major in journalism, which is what I did, I just thought the future was in television. I felt like maybe newspapers were going to die. Well, certainly they're still around. So, and that's great for, society and great for democracy. But I just thought the future was in television. And I thought it would be great to be able to combine speaking skills and photography skills and writing skills, and roll it all into one, and then also help serve the community in that way. And so this was a path that I just always wanted to follow. And strangely enough, I am still doing it almost 20 years at WRAL already. And 5 years before that, I was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, doing local news. So it's just something I've always loved doing.
That is awesome, Renee. You know what, Renee? I tell people in previous episodes and previous seasons also, when you have that gift or you have that installed inside of you that you want to do something at a young age, even a current age, it doesn't leave. It's going to be somewhere inside of you. And look at you. You continue your career and you have been blowing up ever since. I got to give you big shout outs for that, Renee. You have been doing big things.
Oh,
Continue to
you're
do
too
big
kind.
things. Yes, yes. Now, from the beginning of your career up to now, what type of hurdles did you go through to get to where you are now?
Mm. Well, truthfully, even just starting out in this business, that was a huge hurdle. I mean, even though I said this was always a dream of mine, didn't necessarily mean that it would come easily or it would come naturally. So even though I got my degree in broadcast journalism, I went to one of the best journalism schools in the country, University of Missouri. For anyone who's, if anyone younger is watching this and, they're thinking about going into journalism, highly recommend Mizzou. But I digress. So even though I felt like I was well prepared for all that, I had some experience under my belt. My professors were very encouraging, with my potential. When I was a senior and I was sending out, resume tapes to different stations across the country, and we're talking, small market. I was not expecting to go to New York City or LA right out of college by any means. I was applying to, realistic, small market. Hey, will you take me as a reporter? And I'm telling you, by the time I got to graduation, still got 0 offers, while I had a number of my peers already, be scooped up, to this city and that city. Wow. So I graduated, over the summer. I still worked at the college station there, which is the NBC affiliate, working on my writing, working on my photography skills, just trying to get more live reports in, and really working on my whole delivery, just trying to get better. And still applying, getting rejection after rejection. I would take a road trip, and go visit stations, news directors, and get feedback, try to, get a critique, right? What can I improve? And a lot of times they would sit there and say, well, you look really young. You look really young. And I said, well, I don't know. I can't do anything about looking like I'm 12. I don't know. I'm not sure what I could do about that. And they're like, well, you just need someone who looks a little more credible, or maybe you aren't fitting, you're not looking the way that, we kind of need right now. And so it was extremely discouraging. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, am I meant to do this? Do I have a future in this? And so about 4 months after graduation, and that felt like a long time, I finally got an offer from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, the ABC affiliate there. And let me tell you, I never thought I would, go to Iowa, had never been to Iowa. But you know what? All you need is one yes, right? One yes to get you in the door. And still so grateful for that news director, Bob Smith, who took a chance on me. I went to Iowa. I didn't know anybody. Didn't know, I saw a lot of snow, a lot of cold
Oh,
weather,
oh,
covered the Iowa caucuses, but it was a great starting ground for me. And that's where I got my experience. That's where I got some of my confidence, and really worked on things. And that launched me here to WRAL, to Raleigh. And because it's so awesome living here, I haven't wanted to leave.
don't blame you. I don't blame you,
Yeah.
Renee. And it's kind of weird to me, and especially in the news industry, when
Mhm.
some people say you don't look the way you need to. You're here to bring the news, what we need to know. This is not Miss America. This is not a beauty pageant. Why are
It's
you
true.
talking about why I need to look a certain way? They want to know what's going on behind me, in front of me, beside me.
Mhm.
They want to hear what's coming out your mouth. I mean,
True.
geez. Yeah,
And I so appreciate that, but I also have to be realistic, and we also have to be realistic about how people view the news. And it is a visual medium.
rating.
You certainly want the people on air to be reflective of the community that you serve. So, in that aspect, that is important. You want women and men, on the air as well. But and I can't tell you how many people emails I've gotten over the years about, people might not notice what you're saying, but they're always noticing what you're wearing, what your hair's like, your makeup. Hey, where'd you get that dress? So it's it's an interesting business for sure, and
It is.
what people notice. But you're right. I hope people can focus on the stories that we bring them, the information that we're bringing. That,
True.
of course, is
True.
what's important and what we focus on.
That's true. And it's a social media era now. So,
Oh, of
looks is
course.
everything. Looks is everything now. So I definitely get it. Now, Renee, did you have any mentors to help you out in the beginning of your career?
I did. My college professor, Stacy, who's actually a man, was one of my biggest mentors and biggest cheerleaders as far as really working with me and helping to develop my talent. He was just a great mentor to a lot of the student journalists there at University of Missouri. I also had a chance to intern at the NBC affiliate WDIV in Detroit. I'm originally from Michigan. So on a summer internship, I worked there, and I got to work with Emery King, who was White House correspondent for NBC News way back in the day. I don't even know if you remember him, but then he became a longtime anchor in Detroit, where he's from, and then he established a foundation and all that. Anyway, so Emery King was, he was like a legend, and he was super big time legend in Detroit, and that was awesome working with him and seeing how he navigated, not just being on air, but the behind the scenes stuff, and really being able to share what was like for him to start out and how he got to even network level, and then back to local news level.
Wow. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Big shout outs to all your mentors. I hope you're watching this right now. Make sure you check them all out. Make sure you continue to check out Renee, ladies and gentlemen, that's watching worldwide right now. Make sure you take down these nuggets because Renee is telling you what she went through to get to where she's at today. So make sure you check that out. Now, Renee, let's talk about it real quick.
Mm.
Once again, I told you, everybody's seeing you, especially Eastern North Carolina, WRAL.
Everybody.
But yeah,
Yes.
everybody, come on, everybody got to go by the channel. They stop. They definitely do. Now, how excited were you when you first realized that you received this position at WRAL News?
Absolutely thrilled. I had spent 5 years in Iowa. I was ready for a change. As much as I loved the friends I made there, loved my coworkers, and loved the experience, that was just not going to be a place I knew I was going to see myself long term. I knew I wanted something bigger. But here's the thing: when I was in Iowa, I met a guy. Okay, I met a guy named Mike, who later became my husband.
Yep.
So we had started dating, and at the time, and my contract was coming up, and I was starting to look for other jobs. So that conversation included him as to, okay, where might you want to go if it's not in Iowa, right? And so we had designated some cities. He's originally from Montana, and he's not a big, big city guy. So we came up with the list, and Raleigh was on that list, or actually Research Triangle Park, because he was kind of more like medical biotech field. Anyway, so I said, "Oh, okay. Research Triangle Park, Raleigh, North Carolina. Never been there, but okay. I'll see what's happening there. That sounds like that could be a nice place." And in years past, I had gone to journalism conferences, always industry conferences, great places to network, of course. And I had met Ken Smith, who had just started at WRAL. Of course, he's one of our anchors and reporters here, a long time as well. Got here before me, but I knew that he was working at WRAL. So I said, okay, well, that's the station Raleigh. Let me, talk to him and see what's Raleigh like, what's WRAL like. When I reached out to him, what do you know? WRAL was looking for a reporter. So, okay, let me, slip my tape in and, okay, can you get this to, the boss that makes those decisions? And so through Ken, the news director got to see my tape and called me in for an interview. That was the first time that I had ever been to Raleigh. I remember flying into RDU and going, look at all these trees. It's so green here, because I was so flat. And I'm like, wow, this place is lush. It's just so vibrant. And as soon as I toured WRL, I mean, it was just a bigger station with all the resources, cubicles everywhere, busy, busy, busy. Oh, we got a helicopter, all kinds of stuff. And I just in talking with the folks, I just felt like it was going to be a real good fit. So as a result of Mike kind of suggesting even putting this on the radar, and then me looking at this particular station, it just, the stars aligned. It all just worked out, and here I've been.
I love it. Renee, I'll
Yeah.
give you a quick story real quick. I remember
Mhm.
when I first met Lena Tillett and Gerald Owens.
Okay.
We was at the state fair. So
Ah,
you guys set up your little booths where you
yes.
can pass out the kitchen magnets, sign it, take pictures.
Gotta get your WRL stuff, the
Yes.
bag, the
Yep. Yep.
the mug.
So this is how
Magnet.
TV tricked me so badly. So I did not know Gerald was that tall in real life.
Mm,
So I'm 5'7", 5'8". I'm
okay.
walking up and I'm in the middle between Lena and Gerald taking a picture. And I
Because they're
want
sitting down, right?
no, we're
They were
standing up.
oh, you're standing up now. Okay.
No, I'm sitting down right now. Oh, I'm sitting down right now.
No,
But
I know you are. No, I
oh,
said when you met them at the state fair, were they sitting
yes,
down? Because then you can't
yes,
tell how tall people are. Yeah.
yes, they
Mhm.
were. And then they both said, "Hey, would you like to take a picture?" I said, "Sure." And when they stood up, I said, "Oh my gosh." So I'm in the middle of them. Renee, no lie, I want to stand on my tiptoes so bad. I said, I'm not going to make them laugh in the middle of this picture.
Well, and Lena's got some height on her too,
She do.
especially if she's wearing heels. So
Yes.
were you shorter than her?
Yeah,
Didn't
I
you
got to
weigh?
see the picture, and I'm about to send you that picture also, Renee. I'm in the middle looking like like this, and then this, and then this. And I'm like, no, no, no.
Okay.
I said, let's take the picture.
Next to Gerald, everyone looks tiny. Okay, just
Yes.
tiny. Um, every once in a while, I might have to do the evening shift, and so I have anchored with Gerald before. And our new set is now about five years old now. But like the old set, when we used to have it in the newsroom, I don't know if you remember that
Yes,
look, but
I do.
the way the setup was, if we would stand like at a certain point, we had boxes. We had boxes that different people could stand so that we could be not necessarily the same height, but at least, I'm not coming up to, Gerald's midsection or something, that at least it would kind of level out a little bit. So I've definitely stood on top of those boxes. I've shamelessly used those boxes because this is like, all right, I'm just too short right now. And he's just, the
Yes,
nicest guy and a
yes,
giant.
yes.
And we say that affectionately.
Lena, Gerald, I know you're watching this. Next time you go to the state fair, bring one of those boxes, because if I take a picture again, I'm standing on that box. You're not going to outdo me this time. I promise you that. Big shout out to the whole WRAL crew. Got
Yeah,
to
we
throw that out
we
there.
love doing, the state fair and getting to meet folks, and the setup's different every year, but a lot of times now we're just kind of sitting so people kind of take a picture. So then you don't have that height differential. But Michael, if you ever take a picture with me, you will look very tall. I guarantee. I
Renee, we're
guarantee.
taking a picture
Because
next time. I'm
I'm
coming.
5'3" and the half. The half
Oh,
is very important. With heels, I might be I might be 5'5", 5'6". So you'll be
Renee,
standing tall next to me.
We're going to take a picture next time I'm
Okay.
at the state fair and you're there,
Okay.
and we're going to do
Definitely.
this. We definitely
Come
are.
back.
Now, Renee, can you explain to people, because people watch the news and they're seeing people talk, and then you see some people reporting. Can you please explain to everybody what is a anchor or slash reporter? What is their true duty?
Hmm. Well, I would say we have the same duties of telling the stories, informing viewers, talking to folks, getting information. But really, I guess the most noticeable difference is where we are. So the anchors will be in the station. They'll usually be in studio, and they will pretty much host the entire newscast. So you'll see them and hear from them for most of the half hour or the hour, right? They're the people that start the show, end the show, and kind of, conduct everything in between. And the reporters are the ones who are out in the field is the the conversational term, but we call out on location. They're live from whatever town hall meeting or rally or some big breaking news story, a crash that happened on the Beltline. They're out there live at the scene, gathering information on that one particular story and being the expert on that story. Whereas the anchor kind of works with producers to kind of to deliver the whole newscast. Okay, here's our half hour or hour news. What do folks need to know about today? So, like for the morning news, it's like, what do they need to know to start their day? And then, when you wake up in the mornings and you turn on the TV, the anchors are who you see there in the studio, and the reporters are also bringing you the big stories that are unfolding at that hour.
So, Renee, you have worn both hats. Which one do
Mhm.
you like the best?
Ooh,
On the spot.
yeah. So early in my career, right? Yeah, I've done a lot of the reporting, and I enjoyed that. Look, I enjoy both aspects quite a bit, and I think the reporter to the anchor is a natural progression.
Mhm.
I would say it's a lot like, being a teacher or a principal. Okay. I mean, which is better? So the teacher's in the classroom, really hands on, working with students. There's, that direct interaction. And then the principal is kind of bigger picture, stepping away, maybe more in a leadership role. Um, and you can still have those relationships, right? And those connections, but it's just in a different way. And so with reporting, it was great to every day go out and you meet a different person, you're talking with a different individual, you're learning about all kinds of things. Sometimes you try to set up your story. Sometimes it's like, okay, there's breaking news. Renee, you got to go over here. You're headed out to Durham. You're headed to Roxborough. You're headed to Rocky Mount. Okay, here's what you got to cover. And there's always something new every day, right? So there's that excitement, and really being able to learn about the community. With an anchor, it's being in this position, and you said people are maybe if they're watching WRAL, they're used to seeing my face. So wherever I go, inevitably there might be someone who's just like, hey, Renee, calling out my name or saying hi. And it's like, oh, I don't want to bother you. Just want to say hi, and I'm always saying it's not a bother. It's not a bother for you to come up and talk to me. I'm glad that you did. It's nice to, meet people on the other side of the camera. I'm just talking to a camera and I don't get to see those connections as much. But of course, there's social media too. So I enjoy connecting people with people on that platform as well.
Nice.
So it's tough. It's like, oh, which is my favorite child? I don't know.
Flip a coin.
I like them
Flip a
both,
coin.
and both have been great experiences in my journalistic career.
Nice, nice. Now, Renee, I want to talk about one other thing that you have
Mhm.
done, and on the low, I'm jealous about it. I wish I
Ooh,
could have been there.
okay.
2016.
Yeah.
Gosh. Tell everybody what you covered in 2016 because I wish I could have been there.
The
Oh,
Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro.
yes. Ooh.
Oh, it was amazing. And I'm so glad you brought this up, but definitely one of the highlights of my career. When I think about, the tough days in broadcast journalism, it's not always, glamorous, as you might know, while covering a lot of storms and standing a lot of hurricanes and snow and ice and crime scenes and all that. Every once in a while, you get a little payoff. And that is when you get to go cover the Olympics and you're part of the NBC network and your station sends you to go cover the local athletes that are competing, and then you also get to see some of the star athletes that are known nationally. So cool.
What was your highlight? What was your highlight out there that you remember?
Well, it was really cool seeing the Today Show set. They do a whole production there, and got to meet Al Roker and Hoda Kotb and Savannah. So that was fun to see and do. Ryan Lochte, if you remember him, the swimmer, he he had a bizarre hair. He bleached it. It was all green. He was an interesting character, and of course there was a little bit of scandal with him later. So,
Yeah.
but I did get to meet him, and even talking with some of the gymnasts. So I didn't get to talk to Simone Biles, but I did get to watch her compete. But I didn't talk to her in Rio. Sorry. I talked to her in New York City at an event leading up to the Olympics. So I was able to get a picture with her and chat with her really quick. But Lori Hernandez over, one of the awesome gymnasts there, and getting the team medal. So it was amazing.
Wow. Wow. Once again, on the low, I was really jealous that you was there,
Yeah.
and I wish I could have been there. Big shout outs to the Today Show. Big shout outs to everybody who was there at 2016. Olympics around the corner again, isn't it?
It is, yes, the Paris Olympics for this summer, and
Will we
right
see you?
now I will not get to go. No, that's all I can say. But I won't get to go. I'll be a viewer like you all, but I mean we'll still be able to cover a lot of stuff from here too.
Nice.
But yeah, that was amazing. And I don't know if you remember. At that time, so the mosquito virus, Zika, was
Oh
a
yeah.
big thing. Okay.
Yes.
And the only reason why I bring that up was, well, like we had I mean, I sprayed myself with mosquito repellent constantly. There was special spray for your clothes as well. The venue, that was another concern, I think, for some people, okay, would that deter spectators? And the organizer wanted to make sure, okay, to put people's worries, to make people feel more comfortable about it. They sprayed that whole venue. There was not a single mosquito that I saw while I was there, and it was summertime in Rio. So, well, actually, sorry, it was Summer Olympics, but it's winter actually down there.
Yeah.
But it was so mild, it was still it felt like a light summer weather
Nice.
in North Carolina. But I just remember that, and it was not a problem after all that fear about Zika and getting bitten and getting sick with the virus. We all stayed healthy, and it was all good.
Good. Good. I love that. I
Yeah.
definitely love that. Safe travels there, safe travels back. You can't beat that.
Mhm.
You definitely can't.
Mhm.
Now, Renee, are there any other projects or future events that you're planning to work on that you want the world to know about right now?
Ooh. Maybe not so much projects, as far as just a lot of exciting community events, that will always come up. That's one of the things I love about this job, is just being able to get out in the community and host different fundraisers and events and things. So that's kind of my way of being able to connect with the community and seeing the viewers out there. Let's see. There are things that, yeah, can't quite announce yet, but I'll definitely keep you posted.
Nice. I like that. I like that. Now, Renee, how can everybody catch you on social media to follow you for the latest and greatest of what you're doing?
Sure. Well, I'm on X and Instagram and Facebook. So Instagram and X, I still call it Twitter, but I know it's X. Choo Choo TV. So it's CHOU TV. And then on Facebook, it's WRAL Renee Chou.
Nice, nice. Now, Renee, I got to admit one more thing, and I want to
Mm,
talk about it real quick because
okay.
I've been following this on social media a lot, and I just want about you to speak on about 1 to 2 minutes. A lot of people are talking about this solar eclipse that's coming in April.
Mm,
Some people saying it's gonna be 3 to 5 days of darkness. Some people say it's gonna be a few minutes. What is your take on this?
okay. Well, can I say, it's always I wake up in darkness, so I feel like every day is like an eclipse. So the darkness doesn't scare me if that's what's going to be. Um but man, I know the predictions that come around. Okay, what does this mean? What's going to happen? And look, I'm just hoping it happens at a time that I'm awake and I'm not taking a nap, and that I get to witness.
Do you feel like there's gonna be what everybody is rumoring that it's gonna be so many days of darkness, or do you believe it's
Darkness.
gonna be a few minutes? Your predictions, nothing that is
Well, I
official.
gotta leave it to yeah, I gotta leave it to the experts. I know. Are you hoping for one way or another?
Well, it'll be interesting because in my
I know
lifetime,
how
I have
it's gonna
not
play out.
seen that the whole blackout for days. I never
Right.
seen it. And the only thing is, it's gonna be a panic if that happens. A lot
Uh,
of people will be panicking.
right,
Um,
right.
so
I mean,
of
we can
course
talk about it in the abstract now, but when it happens, I'm
happens.
sure it would be extremely
Right.
frightening and cause the chaos and
Yes.
panic, and we don't want that.
That's true. That's true.
Mm,
Ladies and gentlemen, watch worldwide. Please stay safe during this if that happens.
yes.
Stay
Let's all
safe.
stay rational,
Yes.
calm.
Yes.
We must stay calm and carry on. Look, we got through
Exactly.
a pandemic. I think we'll be able to get through this.
Last
We've
3 to 5 days if it
right,
lasts that long. Exactly. Exactly.
right.
Now,
I
Renee,
mean, I
what
hope electricity and TVs will and devices will still work
that's
because
what we're
we'll
hoping
definitely
too.
we'll be covering the darkness and
Yes.
what will happen once that eclipse happens.
That's what I'm talking about. Make sure you
Yeah.
all stay contact, stay in tune with WRAL. They're going to bring the latest news on that if something big happens. Make sure you do it. Renee, what advice would you give any male or female if they want to become in the news industry, if they want to join the news industry?
Mm. I would say be curious. Ask those questions. If you're wondering about, okay, how does that work? Or why is that the way it is? Um, I don't know the answer, but I'm going to find out. You know, that curiosity will lead you to some really interesting stories and informative stories. And perhaps, other people are asking the same question, and you kind of need to dig right to find out the answers and maybe uncover some hard truths, or perhaps shed light on a situation that people didn't know about, and then maybe people can start brainstorming solutions. So that is an incredible quality to have as a journalist. And on the flip side is also be a good listener.
Mhm.
Yes, you have to talk a lot, and it's good to express yourself and express your opinions. You don't want dead air. You got to keep up the conversation, keep up the banter. But when you're talking with folks, listen, be a good listener. And that will often, uh, you know, ignite some other questions that kind of lead to that conversation. Like Michael, I think you're doing a great job with this interview. I love your interaction. I love that you're listening right to what I have to say, but then also, kind of taking things in a different direction as well if you're curious about something, right? So those qualities, and don't give up. Don't be persistent. Don't take no for an answer, the first, second, third time around, right?
Right. That's right.
Journalists are used to getting rejected. You got to work past that. You got to be resourceful, find another way around it. There's not always one way to do one thing or one way to find out about something. Be persistent, and that persistence will pay off.
I like that. I like it. Now, Renee, this is the last segment of the show. Of course, it's called Take the Floor. You have
Mhm.
up to 2 minutes to say whatever you want. No questions asked. Renee Chou, take the floor.
All right, Michael. I think this day and age, we need to stop asking the question, when are you going to have children? When are you going to have a child? Oh, and are you pregnant? People need to stop asking these questions. If you're a stranger, do not ask these questions. You have no right to ask these questions. And even if you're a close friend, there is another way to find out perhaps what you're thinking or wanting to talk about in a less intrusive way, because those questions are emotionally loaded, they're intrusive, and they can really be triggering for someone. And the reason is you don't know a person's full story. You don't know if maybe they have been battling infertility for years, that they've been, trying to have a baby for years and years. And your question doesn't help. Your question does not help with that pain and despair that that woman, that couple is going through. You don't need to feed into that. You may not think that you're doing that, but that can trigger a lot of despair and devastation. Or maybe they had a miscarriage. All right. Maybe they just lost their baby. And now here's somebody wondering, hey, are you pregnant? When are you due? No, do not ask that. There's nothing worse than asking that. And people may be well meaning. They may just, be wanting to start a conversation or, feel like, they're doing a nice thing because you're curious. But people's plans to have a baby or start a family, that's nobody's business. And if they want to tell you, they will tell you. All right. If you want to be a good friend, there are other ways to go about asking that. You can say, hey, is there anything new with you? Hey, what's happening with you? Let them, take the reins to reveal the news or reveal the struggles that they're going through. But any woman, no matter what stage in life it seems like, people always like to ask these questions, and we just need to do away with those questions. Stop doing it. Do not ask if someone is pregnant, even if it seems so obvious to you. Don't ask a woman in the grocery store, hey, when are you due? Don't do that either. Okay. The woman may, be going through a tough time, may be on medication that makes them, a little heavier at that point. It's none of your business. You don't need to ask these things unless the woman tells you about, their pregnancy or whatever it may be. Stop asking those questions. Let's just, as a society, do away with that.
You heard it here first, people. Be kind, be thoughtful on what you say. That's all you have to do. Renee, I want to thank you for coming on the show. This has been an excellent show, and I would love to have you back on in the future.
Oh, thank you so much for talking with me. And I love your enthusiasm. I love your energy. I love that you're doing this and talking to all kinds of people and being a great journalist. And I just enjoyed this conversation. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Next time on the Big Scoop with Coop, people, my next guest is, I don't announce my next guest. You got to make sure you follow me on social media to catch up with the latest and greatest and find out who's coming on next. All right, people, until the next time on the Big Scoop with Coop. Peace.